Welcome to Better Daily Life, where we are moving forward 1% better every single day. Download the app and supercharge your journey at betterdaily.life. Now it's time to ditch facts and get facts with your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What is up, Betterment family? This is Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Thursday. It is Word Thursday and the 27th day of the Faithful 40 Challenge, and I'm very excited to bring to you the word obstacle. It's going to be a good word to walk through today. Before I get there, keep up the amazing work on your Faithful 40 Challenge. You're doing a great job sticking with it every single day with your mindset, nutrition, and exercise. And for those of you who perhaps have fallen off the wagon just a little bit during this growth phase, it's okay. Jump back in here and let's finish this thing strong. Some of you got your shirts, woohoo, that we ordered, the BU, just better, just 1% better everyday shirts, and I am so excited to see you guys wearing those. Scott, you look really good in yours. Thanks for thumbs upping, showing off your awesome shoulders you've been building. I know a few of you reached out to me yesterday and said you got your shirt. I'm looking forward to some thumbs up pictures as you pursue your Run 100 and your Lift 100 and your Walk 100. Thank you guys for supporting the brand, and also, more importantly, thank you for embodying and helping to shape this journey of 1% better daily. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm honored to be among you. So today, the word obstacle. Obstacle is an interesting word, and I'm meditating on this word particularly because this weekend I'll be running in a Tough Mudder. A Tough Mudder, if you don't know, is an obstacle course race. I think the brand's actually owned by the Spartan affiliates, Spartan races and the Highlander races and whatnot. But the Tough Mudder is the kind of the Navy SEAL bent. It's a little more endurance-based, a lot more hanging and whatnot. Whereas the Spartan races are picking up heavy objects and carrying them long ways and stuff. But obstacle course races are, they're crazy popular. I actually had intended to do this just before COVID broke. I have a very dear friend and a longtime client that I was like, hey, we should do this together. And she was game for it, so let's do it. But then COVID hit and all the events, kind of got canceled. So now, 2 years later, we're getting to do this thing now, which is exciting. But I've been thinking about the word obstacle. Now, it has a very simple etymology. It comes from the 14th century French. The word obstacle means a hindrance or an obstruction. So that doesn't tell us a whole lot. It just means there's this thing standing in your way from something you would like to do. And, there's so many different ways we could go with this, but I want to educate you on a way your brain works real quick. Okay, so imagine you are, let's see if I can come up with a decent example we can all relate with. Imagine that you are, we've all been here. Okay, imagine that you need to do some paperwork or whatever for your vehicle registration. So this happens every year, right? It's not really that big of a deal. You have to do it, fine, whatever. But let's say that in addition to your vehicle registration, you log into your account or you go to the DMV or wherever it is that you go to take care of this thing, and your credit card is expired. And you're like, well, dang it. This simple thing that I was going to do, that I was motivated to do, and that I started to do, now there's a problem, and now you can't pay with your credit card. And that's not a big deal if you have cash on hand, but if you don't have cash on hand, then you have to fix your card problem before you can fix the vehicle registration problem. I know it sounds silly, but there's something that happens in our brain when we are headed in a direction, and then something stands in our way. Something obstructs us. Something becomes an obstacle. Good morning, Robin. Good to see you this morning, brother. And that thing that happens in our brain is a very complicated thing. But the simple version is this. You were moving in this direction, you had momentum, you were motivated, you were making special progress, right? Great. But now something's in the way, And now the brain has a choice. Now the brain has a choice because the choice is it worthwhile to overcome this obstacle and continue in this direction? Or is this obstacle so big and so daunting and going to require so much energy that it would be better if we just stopped what we were doing altogether? The brain has to make that calculation. Well, sometimes it's a small obstacle, right? So you're going to get some food in the pantry, and the food you thought was there isn't there, and you're like, I'll just grab some other food instead. Very tiny obstacle, no big deal, right? Big obstacle would be something like, I go to the pantry and there's no food there. There's also no food in the house. There's also no money in my bank account. This is a very, very large obstacle, right? And, well, in that scenario, you can't not deal with that obstacle for long. We're talking about food, right? Well, obstacles are something we encounter every day. And it was for this reason that it was Marcus Aurelius, I believe, of the Stoics, who said, to be a Stoic means if you sit with it long enough to see the impediment to the way become the way. And then a man recently wrote a book called The Obstacle is the Way, based on that idea. The idea being that thing that happens in your brain when you come up against something on your way to something else, that thing that happens in your brain is a very important thing. And the biological mechanism in your mind and body will assess the obstacle and decide whether or not to move forward. But the real power of being a human being is to make a pact with yourself. The real power of being a human being is to say, I don't care what obstacles are in my way right now, I'm going to overcome them, because overcoming them is the point. The obstacle is the way. I'll flesh that out more in just a second. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Scott. Good to see you guys this morning. I'm sharing meditations on the word obstacle, and it's a complicated word because it's very, very simple. Like, there's something in my way. Well, dang. And our brain makes a calculation about whether or not overcoming that obstacle is going to take too much energy or not. If it's not going to take much energy, we deal with it, and it's no big deal. That's a small obstacle. If our brain decides, no, that's too big for me, that's too wide, that's too vast, I can't do that, then, well, we don't keep going in that direction. And I'm sharing this meditation with you because the obstacle is the way. When we think about our 1% better journey, and we set our sights on, I ask everybody to do this at the beginning of every year. Picture yourself a year from now. What's the best case scenario? If you continue to incrementally improve, what's the best case scenario? And so you can think about that. You can think about the best that you want for your family. You can think about the best you want for your community. You can think about the best you want for your body, right? And you can think about those things. And I promise you that this year you are going to encounter obstacles for the best. You are going to encounter obstacles. And the question is, are you going to spend the time and energy to overcome those obstacles? Is it worthwhile to you to continue pursuing better? And when you think like that, the obstacle to your goals becomes the new goal. I'm going to set this in stone here. So I have a client I'm working with right now, and one of her goals is to maintain healthy muscle tissue in the later years of life. And her posture is such that she tends toward pain pretty regularly. And so she wants those things for herself. She wants to grow some muscle, and she wants to keep herself from pain and degradation in her later years, and to keep up with her grandkids and that sort of thing, right? Well, while we're on this journey, one of the things we need to be able to do is a pull-up. A pull-up is pretty important. It's a strength to weight ratio exercise, right? Well, so we're hunky-dory, we're making progress, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, pull-up. Oh no, I can't do a pull-up. Dang. So now on her journey to growing muscle tissue and improving her posture and staying out of pain, now on her journey, the obstacle is pull-ups. And so now pull-ups are the way. Pull-ups are the goal, right? I'm gonna figure out this pull-up thing. I'm gonna train my body in a static position. I'm gonna learn how to eccentrically load. I'm going to be healthy with my joints on the way down. I'm going to build the strength required in order to pull myself up over a bar. The obstacle becomes the way. Is it super ridiculously important that we do a pull-up? Well, not necessarily, except that it is in the way of going. If you're listening to me, you're probably like, why is he talking so weird? I'm showing you with my hands. I'm going one way, now I have an obstacle, and now I have to deal with this obstacle. But something cool and awesome happens in our body when we deal with an obstacle. When we come up against something challenging and we deal with it, when we come up against something challenging and we overcome it, we change as a result. Something happens to us. It's like we power up. We become a completely different thing. And then we continue moving on. And you might have heard that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? That's the same idea. When we come up against an obstacle and we spend the time and energy and we deal with it and we overcome it, we become something different altogether. We grow a little bit. Maybe we grow a lot of it. And then we cross through that obstacle and we continue on the way. We find that the process of overcoming the obstacles was the point to begin with. The process of overcoming those things was the point to begin with. Obstacles are strange things because as we overcome them, we actually become something different. We become somebody who's capable of overcoming those obstacles. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with an obstacle in your life before that you can think of in this moment. But if you have, once you've overcome an obstacle, that sort of obstacle is no longer an obstacle for you anymore. Once you've overcome that sort of obstacle, once you've done one pull-up, fast forward a year, you can do like hundreds of pull-ups, and they're just pull-ups. You never look at a pull-up bar the same way again. Once you've walked a mile, before that, it might have been like, wow, a mile is a long way. After that, it's like, it's just a mile. Obstacles are powerful, powerful things. I'll say one more thing about this, and then I'll wrap it up. In the story of King Arthur, he and his Knights of the Round Table are looking for the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail is this mythical object that can make everything better. So they're looking for this thing. It's the treasure that's going to make a big difference in the kingdom and in their lives, right? And there's not a map to the Holy Grail. It's just this myth, this idea, and the Knights of the Round Table have to go look for this thing by starting in the place in the forest that looks darkest to them. They have to enter the forest in the place that looks darkest to them. Meaning that in order to find this thing they care to find, they have to start with the most difficult part of the journey. Riddle me that. You might be in a place in your betterment journey where you know where you want to be, or you know where you're headed, or you know that you would like to make progress in a certain direction, but there are obstacles that are in front of you. Maybe you don't have a lot of time in your life. Maybe healthy food seems expensive. Maybe you don't have all the equipment that you would like to use. Maybe there are support structures in your life that you need to overcome. Maybe there's some addictions that you need to deal with. Whatever the case is, you have significant obstacles in front of you. And the challenge of the word obstacle is to face it. There's no way around it, usually. You just have to face it. And in facing it, what's cool is you'll become something different. You'll become something more than you are right now. Maybe not a whole bunch more, but you'll be the you that can deal with those obstacles in front of you. Maybe you'll learn how to get a great workout in 15 minutes. Maybe you'll learn to eat healthy on a budget. Maybe you'll learn some crazy cool exercises that don't require a significant amount of exercise equipment to make it happen. Whatever you're going to learn on this journey, I want to give my best to you, and I'll be thinking about you while I'm running through this obstacle course race. I hope that I'm a little bit different at the end of the weekend than I am right now. I imagine I will be. Guys, this has been Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live for Word Thursday. Thank you for joining me for the word obstacle. Until next time, guys, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for your 1% better. Be you, just better, in mind, body, and spirit. Go to betterdaily.life, download our app, and check out our 5-star coaching resources. We all have a cross to carry. It's lighter when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.life today.